What is going on, guys? J-Hoy back with you today. I am bringing you the 9th episode of the Be a GM series. Now, in last video, we did make a trade for Jacob Trouba, so that would fulfill our last defender spot that was really struggling. So we put him alongside of Luca Spiza, and Spiza's actually stepped up his game since Trouba has been here. So in the last month, we did go pretty good, but we did go up to the trade deadline, and then I stopped it. So in this video, I'm going to be going to the trade deadline and then up to the playoffs, and then we'll see if we even make the playoffs or not. As far as trading goes at the trade deadline, I don't have any trades planned, but if we do get something, then I might look into it. But I'm not going to go out and try to actively get somebody. But however, I did want to make a couple moves, but in all reality, I don't think they would have worked here in Ottawa. So it looks like halfway through the trade deadline, no one wants to make any trades with us. Looks like a bunch of depth guys being traded around. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good so far. After the trade deadline, we go 2 away games, but we are going to go up to April the 3rd and see what happens after that. So we need a bunch of wins here to go on top of our division, but if we don't, I think we'll still be fine. I think we're still in the playoff push, but just those extra wins would definitely help us a lot to get better seeding for the playoffs. But a big span of away games right here against some of the top teams in the NHL right now, and then we go home versus Columbus. So the stats really haven't changed, doesn't look like. It looks like Sekera stepped up a little bit on defense, but other than that, we lose 2 games against Toronto and Montreal, and lose against Columbus, which is not good. So we definitely need to step things up majorly if we want a good seed for the playoffs, instead of going against like the #1 team in our conference, or however the seeding works. But with all these recent losses, I think they're even regulation losses, so it's not good for us. So we definitely need to step things up if we want to do good. But going into the last week of simulation, we definitely need to win, I'd say, at least half these games in order to still have a chance at the top of our division. Now, I have not checked. I will check after the Islanders game, after it stops. Hoffman reaching his 30-goal point again, I believe, for the 2nd year in a row, I believe. Sekera stepped up recently. I'm surprised Carlson isn't there, honestly, but he's probably up there in goals more than assists. Smith put up a lot of penalty minutes, but the 4th-line grinder is basically him. But he's actually playing on the 3rd line with Danny Heatley and Mark Stone. Now, it is a very weird line, but it looks like it's performing pretty well. So I'm going to check. Actually, that's not where I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to standings. So we do sit in 3rd behind Detroit and Toronto. And it does look like we are only 2 points behind Detroit. So we still have a chance for the top. We don't have, we have 4 games. We do not have a chance for presidents at all. But we do have a chance to get up to 2nd in our division, at least. So it looks like Toronto and Chicago are going to be battling for the President's Trophy. It looks like Chicago's already got a couple games or a couple points in hand on them. So probably Chicago will be winning it. Now, I don't think we do face Chicago in the season, so I don't know what the record is exactly. I could go look, but I don't want to take it too long. I want to get right up to the playoffs. But as we look into the last part of the season, I do want to check the stats and see if anybody really stepped up in the last couple months here, and actually it's going to perform for us in the playoffs, so we don't have to get rid of them next year. Because I hate making trades with the guys that have been around for a while, but I mean, if they're needed, they're needed. So looks like Smith playing that 3rd line isn't a great fit, but he does fit on the 4th line, so I don't want to get rid of him. Mike Richards, I don't want him in the lineup, but he is, unfortunately. Peugeot, we brought him up for the couple games, just to give him a little tryout. He only put up 2 points, though, so I thought he was going to put up more. Hoffman reaching his 30-goal point. He actually choked it by 1 last year, but either way, very dominating performance by him either way. but his points looks like it's going to be around the same this year. Hopefully he can put up a couple more points this year. That'd be nice to see. Heatley performed again. Clark MacArthur, what are you doing? So we do have him signed for another 4 years at a $4.65 million contract. Now I believe we did re-sign him. I believe. Actually, no, we didn't, because he did get an extension or a really long contract when he first signed with Ottawa, I believe. I keep saying believe a lot. I don't know why. But I'm not sure why he's not performing that well. Because Turris, he is playing on the first line. So maybe that first line isn't a great fit. Because Turris should definitely be up there in points. So it looks like we're definitely getting some second line numbers from some guys. So Chiasson and Stone both basically the same stats. And Condra obviously just playing on the fourth line. He doesn't really get too much. But I think with the lacking of scoring, 4 guys above 44 points. Wow. So I definitely don't think we have a scoring problem. But it looks like Sekera just absolutely is feeding Erik Karlsson and getting the points. So he did not reach his points from last year. Well, I mean, unless he goes on a complete tear in the last game. But he did improve his goals, which, I mean, really counts a lot. But, I mean, Erik Karlsson, you can't really replace a player like that. He's just top caliber. You can't do much. But either way, Leonard, I did put him back in after I gave Leonard a couple game tryout. But Leonard is not performing nearly as well as I want him to. So that's another question to put to you guys. Should we do something with Leonard or Hammond? Now, I heard, now it's a rumor, I don't know for sure, but Brian Murray addressed in one of his videos at the end of the season that he said if Hammond is to resign, it is likely possible that Craig Anderson or Robin Leonard will be traded. Now, do I agree with that? I don't. Now here's the thing. Hammond's run is definitely incredible. Okay? You cannot put that down. He put him in the playoffs basically, but then he choked in the playoffs. Now, it was last year, Binghamton was struggling a lot. Okay, that's the AHL team of Ottawa, in case you didn't know. He was struggling a lot. Or Binghamton was struggling a lot, I should say. Nate Lawson at the time was the starting goaltender. Okay, so Nate Lawson eventually ended up getting hurt. So Andrew Hammond was the backup goalie at the time. So he came in, he did pretty well towards the end of the season, got him into the playoffs, and then choked. Okay, now if you don't see a pattern here, I don't know what you're looking at or what you're listening to. So Andrew Hammond is a pretty decent goaltender in my mind. I don't believe he deserves as big a chance as he's getting. Now, everybody's going to say, well, what about his run? It's like I said, I cannot put that run down. He did incredible for them. They played out of their minds. Andrew Hammond definitely saved them to go to the playoffs. But either way, Craig Anderson is an NHL proven goaltender. You can't put anything past him. Look at what he did in the couple games he did in the playoffs. He basically held them in. Now, a couple of questionable calls in game number 6. But either way, you can't go back and change it now. But either way, Craig Anderson played out of his mind in the playoffs. He played pretty good, I should say, when Hammond choked, allowing 7 goals in 2 games. But Leonard obviously being hurt, don't know what the future is for him. Because, I mean, if he still is getting setbacks, then Hammond will probably start the season up there, at least backing up. And Leonard, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. Because if he's injured, then that's one thing. But if he's back and he's back in, let's just say, or could be in the lineup. But if it's just a choice between Hammond or Leonard, I would definitely take Leonard, only because I think Hammond is only going to have this one good season, and he's not going to do nearly as good the rest of the time he's in Ottawa, or even Binghamton, or wherever they put him next year. So I definitely think he doesn't deserve what he's probably going to get this offseason. He's probably going to get some crazy contract. But I definitely think Anderson should definitely stay the starter. But, I mean, what I should say is Anderson definitely had I didn't like him at first. But then he started stepping up and he started doing better. So then I started to like him again. But Leonard, being the young gun he is, winning a Calder Cup in 2011 with Binghamton, and then going up, he didn't really have the chance to improve his record. I mean, yes, you can see his numbers. I don't know if these are completely accurate or not, but I don't think they put him in the right situations. Now, that could be questioned by a lot of people, but I don't think so. But I didn't really want to talk about goalies too long, but I kind of just got off a little rant. But I didn't check how the AHL team was doing, so we'll check that real quick. And it looks like they're performing pretty well. They're third in their conference, so they could have a chance to win the conference, which is cool for them. They got a couple games against Norfolk, and then so they still got like 7 games left or whatever I counted there. So they do have a chance. It looks like Shinkarik and Lazar definitely performing. The 2 guys that I want to bring up next year, along with Clayson. Now, here's the thing. Clayson is a great player, I think. He's very solid defensively. He doesn't put up too many points, but they don't need him to. But in this game, they make it so Frederick Clayson gets tons of penalty minutes. Now, it's not true at all. I don't remember how many he got this year, but it wasn't very high. And with Hammond at 21 wins, obviously an 82 overall goalie playing in the AHL is obviously going to help them perform a lot better. So, as I'm losing my voice here, I am going to try to simulate through the rest of the video here and try to get into the playoffs. So I believe we definitely are in the playoffs by now, so we don't have to worry about that much longer. But Montreal, Florida, and I think we have a double against somebody. I think it was Boston. Should end the year, and then I will end the video because my voice is about to go. So then in the next video, we will go into the playoffs and go through round 1, whoever we're going to face, and hopefully we can perform well against them. So double Boston games here. We are beating Detroit right now. So if we beat out, or actually, we could ruin Boston's chances right here, because if Boston wins both, they're in the playoffs, I believe. But if Boston wins one and we win one, then I'm not sure what that means for Tampa Bay. But either way, it doesn't really matter. So let's just go and beat them real quick, and then hopefully ruin their chances. If not, then that's going to be kind of disappointing. But first game going along is a win. Now I will do scouting after the video, so I don't have to bore you with that. I mean, nothing's really exciting during that. So we ended up going 1-1. So I'm not sure what that means for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay ended up winning, so I don't think Boston even has a chance anymore. So I kind of want to leave you guys in suspense of who we're going to face, but I want to know too. So I'm going to simulate up to see who we're actually going to face. And once again, we are facing Detroit in the first round of the NHL playoffs. So in the next video, I don't know why it's still simulating. In the next video, we will go through round 1 with injuries on and Craig Anderson leading the way in goal. Hopefully all the way through the playoffs. So the next video will be round 1 in the 10th episode of the BGM series. So if you guys do enjoy, or if you guys are enjoying this series, please leave a like. If you haven't yet, make sure you go back and watch all the BGM series videos, because if not, then you won't know what's going on or who's even on our team. But you may can, because I went over the stats. But either way, guys, that's the end of the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. But anyway, guys, I'll see you later.